My wife packed her bags and said, "I'm leaving tonight. Don't try to stop me." I didn't. Instead, I called my lawyer, canceled her cards, and changed the locks. 3 days later, she was sleeping on her friend's couch, begging to return. I just replied, "No." Hey, viewers, a quick thank you. Over 14% of you are subscribed, and it means everything. If you're new here and like these stories, join the family by hitting that subscribe button. We're aiming for 10,000. Look, I'll be straight with you guys. This mess started because my wife, Emma, thought she was far smarter than she was. We've been married 3 years. I'm 34, she's 31. I run my own crew in construction, making decent money. Emma works part-time at a boutique, spending most of her day on social media, griping about everything. The trouble began about 6 months ago when Emma got it in her head that she deserved better house, better car, probably a better husband. She started picking fights over trivial stuff and making snide remarks about how her single friends seemed happier. Last month, she began staying out late with those friends, coming home at 2 a.m., claiming it was just girls' nights. Sure, Emma, whatever you say. 2 weeks ago, I discovered she was messaging her ex-boyfriend, Ryan, on Instagram. Not just chatting, but planning to meet up. When I confronted her, she flipped it on me, calling me controlling and jealous. That should have been my first hint she was up to something. Friday night, I got home from work around 6 p.m., and Emma was in the bedroom, tossing clothes into suitcases, not packing for a trip, but like she was moving out. "What's going on?" I asked. She didn't even glance at me, just kept stuffing bags. "I'm done, Mike. This marriage isn't working. I'm moving out tonight." "What do you mean, moving out? We didn't even talk about this." "There's nothing to talk about. I've made up my mind." "Emma, where are you going? What about us trying to work things out?" She finally looked at me, her face cold, like she'd already checked out. "I'm staying with my friend, Lisa, until I figure things out. And don't try to stop me. My mind's made up." I stood there, watching my wife pack up our marriage like it meant nothing. "So that's it. 3 years of marriage, and you're just leaving?" "Mike, I need space to think about what I want. This house, this life, it's not enough for me anymore. Not enough for you. I feel trapped here, like I'm wasting my 30s stuck in suburbia when I could be living my life." She's 31, but whatever. "Emma, if you're not happy, we can talk about it. Maybe counseling." "I don't want counseling. I want out." She zipped up the last suitcase and dragged it toward the door. "I'm moving out tonight. Don't try to stop me." Here's where Emma made her big mistake. She expected me to chase her, beg her to stay, promise to change, and hand her all the power. Instead, I said, "Okay." She stopped in the doorway, looking confused. "Okay. If you want to leave, then leave. I'm not going to stop you." "Mike, you're not even going to fight for our marriage." "Emma, you just said you're done and don't want counseling. What exactly am I supposed to fight for?" She stood there, waiting for me to break down and plead. When I didn't, she got mad. "Fine, don't say I didn't give you a chance to fix this." And she left. As soon as her car pulled out, I called my lawyer, Tom, a guy I've known since high school who handles my business matters. "Tom, it's Mike. Emma just walked out, said she's done with the marriage. What do I need to do to protect myself?" "Mike, slow down. She left tonight. 20 minutes ago. Packed her stuff and moved out. Said she needs space to think about what she wants." "Okay, first, understand your rights. Is Emma an authorized user on your credit cards, or are they joint accounts?" "Authorized user. The accounts are in my name. She just has cards linked to them." "Good. You can cancel those. Any joint bank accounts need to stay open, but you can remove her access to credit accounts you solely own. Change the locks if the house is in your name only." "House is mine. Bought it before we married." "Perfect. Document everything she took with photos. This protects you if she claims you kept her belongings." I spent the next 2 hours canceling Emma's authorized user credit cards and calling my bank to remove her access to my accounts. We had one small joint checking account for household expenses, which I left alone per Tom's advice. I called a locksmith, who came out Saturday morning and changed every lock on the house. Cost me $400, but worth every cent. Saturday afternoon, I went through the house, taking pictures of everything Emma left behind: furniture, decorations, kitchen stuff. Turns out, when you're packing in a hurry, you don't realize most of your stuff won't fit in suitcases. The funny thing is, Emma had been spending money like crazy for months. Designer clothes, fancy dinners, expensive makeup, but never saved any of it. She was living off my income without building any independence. Sunday, my phone started ringing. Mike, what did you do? My cards aren't working. Hi, Emma. You said you were moving out, so I canceled your authorized user access to my accounts. You can't just cut me off from money. Actually, I can. Those are my credit cards, Emma. I just gave you access as my wife. I didn't say I wanted a divorce. I said I needed space. What's the difference? You moved out and said you were done with our marriage. The difference is I'm still your wife, and I still have rights. Rights to what, exactly? You moved out. You said the marriage wasn't working, that you were done. Mike, this is ridiculous. I need money for basic expenses. Emma, you have a job, and you took money from our joint household account yesterday. Use that. She'd taken about $800 from the joint account when she left. I'd seen the withdrawal. That's not enough to live on. Then maybe you should have thought about that before you decided to leave. She hung up on me. Monday, Emma's friend Lisa called. This was interesting because Lisa was the one feeding Emma ideas about leaving me. Mike, this is Lisa. Emma's staying with me, and she's really struggling. That's unfortunate. Mike, she made a mistake. She was emotional and didn't think it through. Lisa, Emma packed suitcases and moved out. That seems pretty thought through to me. She just needed space to figure things out. That doesn't mean she wanted to end the marriage. Actually, that's exactly what it means. She said she was done. Mike, can't you just talk to her? She realizes she overreacted. Lisa, you're the one who told her to leave me. You said she was too young to be tied down. Silence on the other end. You've been telling Emma for months she should explore her options and see what's out there. Well, now she's exploring. Leave me out of it. Mike, that's not fair. What's not fair is my wife's friend convincing her to blow up our marriage because you're bitter about your own divorce. I hung up. Tuesday, Emma called back. Mike, I'm staying on Lisa's couch, and it's not working out. I need to come home. That's not your home anymore, Emma. You moved out, remember? Mike, I made a mistake. I was listening to bad advice from Lisa. So this was Lisa's idea? She kept telling me I was wasting my youth being married, that I should see what else was out there while I'm still young and attractive. And you believed her? Mike, I realize now that was stupid. Lisa's miserable, and she wanted me to be miserable too. Emma, you didn't think it was stupid until your credit card stopped working. That's not true. If I hadn't cut off your access to my money, would you be calling me right now? She couldn't answer. Mike, what do I have to do to fix this? There's nothing to fix. You wanted out, you got out. I changed my mind. Too bad. I didn't. Wednesday, she showed up at the house, rang the doorbell for 10 minutes, then started pounding on the door when I didn't answer. I watched through the window as she tried her old key. When it didn't work, she yelled, Mike, I know you're in there. Open the door. My neighbor, Tim, came over to check on things. I went outside to talk to him. Everything okay, Mike? Emma moved out Friday. She's upset I changed the locks. Emma turned to Tim like he'd help her. Tim, he locked me out of my own house. This is crazy. Tim looked confused. Emma, didn't you tell me Sunday you were finally free and ready to live your life? Her face went red. Apparently, she'd been bragging to the neighbors about leaving me. I was just venting, Tim. I didn't mean I was leaving permanently. That's not what you said. You told me you felt sorry for married women stuck with boring husbands. Emma shot me a look, like this was my fault. Mike, we need to talk. Let me in. There's nothing to talk about, Emma. You made your choice. Mike, please, I made a mistake. I was emotional and said things I didn't mean. Which things didn't you mean? That the marriage wasn't working? That you felt trapped? That our life wasn't enough for you? I was just overwhelmed. I didn't think it through. Emma, you packed suitcases, moved out, took money from our account, and told neighbors you were free. That's all pretty thought through. She started crying then. Real tears, not the fake ones she used to get her way. Mike, please, I love you. I don't want a divorce. Funny, you didn't love me enough to talk to me before you left. I was scared and confused. You were excited, Emma. Tim just confirmed you were bragging about being free. Mike, I want to come home. This isn't your home anymore. You gave that up when you moved out. Thursday, she called my work, trying to get my crew to convince me to take her back. My foreman, Chris, told her I was busy and hung up. She called my mom next, an even bigger mistake. My mom never liked Emma much, thought she was spoiled and immature. When Emma called, crying about how I'd locked her out, my mom's response was perfect. Emma, You've been complaining about being married for months. Mike said you told him the marriage wasn't working and you were done. Sounds like you got what you wanted. I didn't mean it like that. I was just upset. Emma, you packed your belongings and moved out. That's not being upset. That's leaving. Can you please talk to Mike for me? I'm not getting involved. You made your decision. Now live with it. But I have nowhere to go. Emma, you're 31 years old. Figure it out like every other adult. Friday, Tom called with an update. Mike, has Emma contacted you about reconciliation? She's been calling and texting, but mostly just wants to come back. Interesting. Most people who leave don't try to return this quickly unless they realize they made a financial mistake. What do you mean? Emma probably thought you'd keep supporting her financially while she figured things out. When that didn't happen, she realized how expensive independence is. So, she wants to come back for financial security. That's my guess. Has she mentioned love or working on the marriage? Only after her card stopped working and she ended up on a couch. Classic. My advice, stick to your position. She made an adult decision. She can live with adult consequences. Saturday, Emma showed up at the house again, this time with her sister, Claire, who looked embarrassed to be there. I answered the door. Hi, Mike, Claire said. Emma asked me to come talk to you. About what? Letting her come home. She realizes she made a mistake. I looked at Emma, standing behind Claire, looking defeated. Claire, Emma told me our marriage wasn't working and she was done. She packed her stuff and moved out. What mistake are you talking about? She was emotional and said things she didn't mean. She packed suitcases, Claire. She took money from our account. She told neighbors she was excited to be free. That's not emotional. That's planned. Mike, everyone makes mistakes. Don't you think your marriage is worth fighting for? I thought so, but Emma didn't. She gave up without even trying to work on things. She wants to try now. Now that she's sleeping on a couch and her credit cards don't work. Claire looked uncomfortable. Mike, that's not fair. What's not fair is Emma walking out on our marriage, then expecting me to pretend it didn't happen when it became inconvenient for her. Emma finally spoke. Mike, I'll go to counseling. I'll do whatever you want. Emma, what I wanted was a wife who didn't give up on our marriage the first time her friend told her she could do better. You're not that person. People can change. Maybe, but I'm not interested in finding out with someone who abandoned our marriage. Mike, please, I have nowhere to go. Lisa kicked me out because I can't contribute to rent. Sounds like you need to get a full-time job. With what money? You cut off my access to funds. Emma, you have a part-time job, and you took $800 when you left. Most people manage to survive on their own income. Claire tried one more time. Mike, don't you still love her? Claire, I love the woman I married. The woman who packed her bags and walked out is someone I don't recognize. They left after that. The following week, Emma made one final desperate attempt. She got my sister, Rachel, to call me. Mike, Emma came to see me. She's really struggling. I'm sure she is, Rachel. She's living with her parents now. Had to quit her boutique job because she couldn't afford gas. That's unfortunate. She seems genuinely sorry, says she was influenced by bad friends and made a terrible mistake. Rachel, Emma didn't make a mistake. She made a calculated decision to leave our marriage. The only thing she's sorry about is that it didn't work out the way she planned. What do you mean? She thought she could walk out dramatically, and I'd chase after her, begging her to come back. Instead, I accepted her decision and moved on. Mike, are you sure you want to throw away 3 years of marriage? I'm not throwing anything away, Rachel. Emma already did that when she packed her bags. 2 months later, Emma tried one last approach. She had a lawyer contact Tom about reconciliation and possibly withdrawing divorce proceedings. Tom called me, laughing. Mike, you're not going to believe this. Emma's lawyer called, asking if you'd be open to marriage counseling instead of divorce. What did you tell him? I told him my client has moved on and is proceeding with the divorce as planned. Good. The interesting part is what Emma's lawyer let slip. Apparently, she's been struggling financially, and her parents are pressuring her to either get back together with you or become completely independent. So, this is about money? Has to be. She's realizing that leaving a marriage means losing the financial security that comes with it. The divorce was finalized last month. Emma moved 3 hours away to live with her parents. I heard through Rachel that she got a full-time job at an insurance office and is slowly learning to support herself. She sent me one text after the divorce was finalized, asking if we could talk. I didn't respond. The house feels peaceful now, No more drama. No more walking on eggshells around someone who's never satisfied. I started dating again 2 weeks ago. Met a woman named Laura, a 29-year-old teacher who has her life together. She owns her place, works full-time, and isn't looking for someone to support her financially. When I told Laura about Emma, she said something that made sense. Sounds like she wanted to keep you as a backup plan while she explored other options. When that didn't work out, she tried to come back to her safety net. That's exactly what Emma wanted. She thought she could walk out dramatically, and I'd wait around for her to decide if she wanted to return. Instead, she learned that actions have consequences, and some decisions can't be undone. Emma said I didn't fight for our marriage. She's wrong. I fought for our marriage every day for 3 years by being faithful, committed, and working to build a stable life together. She gave up on our marriage in one night because her bitter, divorced friend convinced her there might be something better out there. Turns out, there wasn't. But by the time she figured that out, I'd already accepted her decision and filed for divorce. The best lesson I learned is that when someone shows you they don't want to be with you, believe them the first time. Don't chase people who walk away from you. Let them go and see how much they actually valued what they had.